some of the top scams when it comes to real estate transactions in Brazil. Hello there, my name is Luciano Oliveira. I am a Brazilian attorney. By scams, we actually mean fraudulent transactions in a sense that whoever is selling the property has basically no rights to be selling. And if you pay this person, you're basically not gonna get anything. We have a second video and you can see the description and the link for this video below. And the second video actually addresses frauds. And the frauds in our categorization of problems in Brazil are gonna address less serious situations, which are basically situations where the seller has some rights in the land, but they are doing something that is illegal and therefore the fraud term. But for this current video, this video that we're discussing right now, we're going to be talking about the scams, which are of course the worst case scenarios. So the worst type of scam is when you're buying a property from someone who's not the owner. You may be buying from someone who's using fake documents, someone who's pretending to be the seller. You may be buying from an agent who's not going to deliver the funds to the real owner and who does not have the rights to represent the owner. So there are so many types of subcategories within this type of scam, but is unfortunately somewhat common. And just to illustrate what we're talking about, you're going to see here a link, and this link is for some news like from the prior month. Like we're recording this video in July of 2023, and this news is from June of 2023, and it was unfortunately describing like 300 people who were deceived in Rio de Janeiro. Like they were buying apartments for a lot of money, and it was basically a crime ring. This crime ring, they would rent properties throughout, the most important neighborhoods in Rio de Janeiro, such as Ipanema, Barra, Recreio, Leblon, and so on. And then because they were renting the spaces, they were able to take the interested parties in. They would say, all right, this is my apartment and this and that. And because the person was actually visiting the property, they would believe that the property was owned by the scammer, but the scammer was just renting the property, right? And they were able to deceive just for this single scheme, like they were able to deceive 300 buyers. So a single group of scammers deceiving 300 buyers. Now, if you think about how many scammers are out there in Rio de Janeiro alone, you just multiply, and unfortunately it's easy to imagine that every single month just in the city of Rio de Janeiro alone there may be a couple of thousand people being deceived buying properties from someone who's not the legitimate owner. All right, so this is the most serious type of scam in Brazil. Another type of scam that we've been seeing over time is the sale of properties that do not exist, particularly in the northeast of the country. This is recurring. They're going to have something like a farm, like a cocoa farm, and they're going to be sharing quotas, or they're going to be sharing plots within this development. And then for instance, they're going to be buying this kind of quota, or like the plots of land within this farm. And there is no papers. There is just a map, there are pictures, there is a purchase contract, there are documents related to the main farm, but sometimes the developer bought the farm and they are paying like in installments, and they are already selling to these buyers, right? And the idea is that once this buyer seller deceives a number of foreign citizens, they're basically just going to disappear, and then these buyers, they're going to say, all right, what do I do with this paperwork? And the paperwork basically has no legal value. Okay, this is another recurring, unfortunate type of scam in Brazil. Another type of scam, which is actually not just common in Brazil, but throughout the world, is like a property being sold multiple times. And that could happen like when the person sells to multiple buyers at the same time, and there is a time gap between, signing the contract and attending a closing, after the closing to actually update the property record. So in this meantime, this person could basically sell to multiple buyers, right? And eventually one of the buyers is going to be able to record the property, but all of the others, they are going to be just like with with no recourse, because like the person who bought it first and was able to record, they're going to have a right to the property as long as they bought like without knowing of the scam. And all of the other buyers, they're going to have no recourse other than trying to find the scammer. And unfortunately, scammers, you know, like they prepare everything so nobody is going to find them later on. Another type of scam is selling properties, or particularly plots of land in areas where you cannot build anything. And this is also unfortunately common in the northeast of Brazil. You're going to buy a plot of land by the beach, but there is always some level of dispute between the municipalities by the beaches and the state. So let me give you an example. Like in Ceará, many cities, they have some level of ability to authorize a development to take place, but there is still a concurring regulation by the state. And if the state does not agree with the municipality decisions to allow a specific development, the state may later on fight legally against the city in order to invalidate the development, or if they are unable to invalidate, they could enforce provisions that are going to make so difficult for the buyers to build anything that this land is going to have basically zero value. And unfortunately, there are some instances of such cases in Ceará. You buy the land, and when you try to build something, you get so much red tape and rules. And maybe there is, just to give you an example, like during the rainy season, there is a course of water coming through the plot of land, and this course of water could be interpreted as like a kind of not a river, but a body of water that should be protected under the state regulations. So you bought this land, and now unless you are able to work something out with the municipality, or you know, if you have like very costly environmental studies on how to handle the issue, you're not going to be able to build anything over there, right? And unfortunately, people are going to sell when they know about this problem. They sell the property, but they don't tell you up front, and then you end up being the owner of a land that's not going to be worth anything, because again, in order for you to build something over there, you're going to be spending a lot of money. So these are some of the main scams in Brazil. Unfortunately, there are still others that we are not addressing over here, but these are examples so you can understand the dynamics behind this targeting of foreign citizens in Brazil, and you can be on the lookout and hopefully find an attorney, or if not an attorney, a large professional real estate agency to help you find the correct properties for your investments in Brazil. I hope this information was helpful. If you like this video, like it so other people can find this content and follow us for more tips.